Good morning friends. Today we are going to see the next chapter, that is the food constituents and its chemistry. In that, first of all, we will see the water. So water is nothing but it is the aqueous liquid which is present in the nature. So there are different roles of water in human being as well as in the food. So water is chemically, it is the molecule made up of oxygen and hydrogen atoms. So two molecules of water molecules, they are joined by, that is the bond, that is bond is called as covalent bond. And in a single molecule of water, two hydrogen atoms, they are joined together with the oxygen, that is the ionic bond. So water is basically a dipole molecule. Water present in different forms, solid form, liquid form and gaseous form. And mostly water present in the food is, that is the aqueous form, that is in the liquid form. Now next point is what we will see, what are the different functions of water. The first and most important function of water is that it acts as a universal solvent. Universal solvent means what? It can dissolve different solute inside it and makes the different types of solution. For example, sugar, salt, when dissolved in the water, it becomes the sugar solution or salt solution. So most of the solute present in the universe, they can easily dissolve in that water. That's why it is called as universal solvent. The second function of water is that it maintains the body temperature in our diet, in our human body. So how we are losing the water? Through respiration or through sweating. So water plays an important role for maintaining our body temperature. Next function of water is that it maintains or regulate the metabolic activity in our stomach or in our different cells. So water is required for the activation of enzymes or for the anabolism or catabolism. Anabolism means synthesis of compounds and catabolism means it is the degradation of compounds. Next function of water is that water maintain the texture in the food. So some food materials, they are juicy ones, some having the soft texture, some having the hard texture. So water is responsible for the maintaining the texture of the food. Next function of water is that water is required or used for the transfer of carbohydrate protein molecules after they are digested. After they are digested and they are transferred to the individual cells for performing the activity. So these are the main functions of water. So water present in the food or the moisture present in the food, that is measured or responsible for the deciding the shelf life of that food commodity. Now what is the shelf life of food? So it is the time duration after the harvesting to it reaches to the consumer, or the time duration after the manufacturing of that food product to the ultimately it is consumed by the consumer. That is the shelf life. If the moisture content in the food is less, ultimately shelf life of that food product will be more. So how this shelf life is measured? So it is moisture present in the food, it is measured in terms of water activity. Now what is by water activity? It is the ratio of vapor pressure present in the food to the pure vapor pressure of the water. So if the water activity of food is more, there is more chances of spoilage by attacking different microorganisms, bacteria, yeast and mold. If the water activity of pure water is, that is the 1, and if there is water activity above 0.9 to 1, there is chances of bacterial attack. If the water activity is more than 0.85 to 9, there is attack of the yeast, and water activity less than 0.8, there may be chances of attack by the mold. So water activity play important role in deciding the microbial attack of on the food. Now when the moisture content on the food increases, there may be chances of attack of microorganisms on that food. Now we will see what are the different types of water which are present in the food. So basically 4 types of water, they are present in the food. First one is the free water, second one is the bound water, third one is the imbibed water, and fourth one is the adsorbed water. The first one is the free water, the water which can be easily removed by our hand, either by squeezing or either by pressing. That water is called as free water, and that free water is present in the cells of the food, in the cytoplasm, or they may be present in between the intracells. Second water is, that is the bound water. So bound water is the The name itself indicates that water is bound together by proteins, carbohydrates or other molecules. Means there is the hydrate formation of that water present in the food. So that water cannot be easily removed from that food. So we have to give the more energy to remove that water. The third one is the imbibe water. So this type of water is present in the gel form. Fourth water is the adsorb water. Adsorb water, the water which is adsorbed on the surface of food. An example is when the water is absorbed by the dry cocoa. So there are four types of water: free water, bound water, imbibe water and the adsorb water. Now, if the moisture content in the food is more, then it is responsible for the spoilage. So on the basis of ease of spoilage, water can be classified into three classes. Food can be classified into three classes: perishable food, non-perishable food and semi-perishable food. Perishable food means which are having the more than 80% moisture. Non-perishable means the food which are having the less than 20 to 30% moisture, and the semi-perishable foods which are having the 30 to 80% moisture. The example of perishable foods are fruits and vegetables, milk, eggs, etc. The example of non-perishable foods are dried powder, grains, etc. And the examples of semi-perishable foods are potato, onions. Now, we have seen the different types of water, how the water is responsible for the spoilage of food. Now, we will see how the water is estimated, or what are the methods which are used in the food industry as well as in the lab, so that we can measure how much quantity of water is present in that food. So there are different methods used. The first one method is by the use of hot air oven. Second method is by the use of Karl-Fischer method. Second one is the NMR method, that is nuclear magnetic resonance method. Next method is by the use of immiscible solvent method. The first one is the hot air oven method. So in hot air oven, there is the cylindrical shaped instrument is there, in which we are circulating the hot air which are generated by the heaters, and we are maintaining the 105 degrees Celsius temperature, and the food is heated for 3 to 4 hours, so that we can measure the water content or moisture content in that food. So this method is basically used for the solid sample or measurement of moisture content of the solid sample like grains. Second method is the Karl-Fischer titration. In the Karl-Fischer titration, we are using the P2O4, that is the phosphorus pentoxides. They are used for the food materials which are sensitive to heat, or the methods which cannot be, or the food materials by which moisture cannot be determined by the hot air method. The next method is the nuclear magnetic resonance method, in which we are using the magnetic waves for the determination of the moisture. And the last one is by the use of immiscible solvent. So we have seen what is in by water, what is the role of water in the food, how the water is present or moisture affect the food, for the spoilage, different types of water, and how the water is estimated. Thank you.